Good evening. It is April 14th, 2026. I'm Glenda Carlin, and this is our weekly Tuesday night A Course in Miracles in Tibetan Buddhist get together. And as I'm talking, my voice sounds a little weak. So I'll explain why that is. I'm going through a shift. Another shift is happening. And why this shift is happening. So first let's do the topic of tonight's conversation it's changed. It's changed a bit. The original topic was I'm on still talking about cosmic awareness and that I'm letting everything go as it goes. But the main thing I'm going to talk about is I'm experiencing our nature, and the nature of what awareness is. I'm experiencing that. And what that is this great, ever pure, primordial emptiness is what our nature is and is what awareness is. And why this has come about, this last topic, is on April 12th, I think it was Sunday, I gotta open my phone back up. I was looking at Facebook for posts that resonated with me. And I saw this post that Lama Surya Das did. And I'm not sure who did the image, but the image is, you can't quite tell, but it's turning. I reshared it. I shared it on my Facebook page. But what this is, that black line you see there, he doesn't label any of this, but to me that black line is the great ray that's coming in, and it's coming into this center that's a sparkly blue and white molten area. Then around that center area is a red molten multi-layered layer. Then around that is white. And then around that's green. And around the perimeter, there's golden yellow, and orange. And as I looked at this, sat with it, contemplated it came to me, it was showing two different things. First, to me, it showed the opened, fully opened chakras from the vision of a God eyeball looking above, looking down, like if you look down the top of your head and your whole body was open and you saw this white is the crown chakra, but it's that I accidentally turned on the music that goes with it, is that great ray is going, it's like you're looking down through like a tower of all the chakras lined up. And at the bottom is this blue. The blue to me was the cosmic universe, the blue spacious cosmic universe. And the red, it's kind of looking deep down, is the red is the molten root chakra. And then coming up, the green is the heart chakra. Oh, but wait, before then, those golden yellow, darker yellow, and the orange is like the navel chakra, the solar plexus, and there's a sun chakra, and the green's the heart chakra. But anyway, just sit with this if you feel led to do that, because the more I sat with it, is I realized I believe the pictures when you ask in Google the chakra system, it'll show a body, and then it shows little round circles like balls lined up, and then it'll identify these balls, these chakras. So in my mind, I'd kind of looked at it, the chakras that way. But now the crown chakra was a little different because I see it that it's like 20 layers of 50 petals each, all multi-layered, all open, crown chakra that gets into one huge, big, swirling, multi-layered, more than 3D dimension of light energy. But these other chakras are multi-layered as well. So as I sat with this, my vision changed because I'm looking from above, looking down. That's above the battleground, Jesus calls it. But anyway, I realized these chakras, when fully awakened, they're bigger than the body. Oh, here's Julia. They're bigger than the body. Let's see if Julia gets in okay. So as I sat with this image, I sat with it in my living room and I'd watch some TV, and then I'd look at this image and I'd contemplate it and sit with it. And it dawned on me, yeah, those chakras are bigger than my body. So the Course teaches we are light beings, and Dzogchen teaches that as well. And so it really, really dawned on me I wasn't a physical body. I was a light being. Now, also, this image, if you could look at it as the elements, the five elements that form the universe. So I looked at it that way as well, that the universe is like this expanding and contracting, multi-layered, multicolored image like that. It's a light being. The universe is a light being as well. So it was significant that it really kind of shifted me from into, I was one big walking around, lined up, fully open chakras, walking a light beam, walking around. But wearing the mask, the sleep mask, then that night, that was Sunday, then I wore the sleep mask. And when the sleep mask was on, I wore it all night. But when I went to bed and the different times I'd wake up, I would see that image of those molten, multi-layered, multicolored chakras all lined up, just all expanding and contracting with the universe. And then that would feel like then the heart chakra is where light and love really radiates out. But anyway, the universe, my light being, we're all expanding, contracting, like out of the heart chakra. Just sit with all that because Longchenpa, that's the high Dzogchen teacher in Buddhism, talks about the cave of the heart. And the heart chakra is where this awareness, this God awareness lives. But anyway, so today is Tuesday. So see, that happened Monday. So Sunday night, Monday morning, I wake up and then I'm still visualizing that had a big impact on me, though, that image. Oh, because see, that whole tower of chakras are like kind of turning. And as I would meditate that and see that image, I felt like the great ray had become, like you see in that image, it's a straight ray, that was directly connecting me to this groundless ground, this primordial groundless ground. That's to me, for me, is above the head. But anyway, and but also that great ray, as it comes in, descends, as you all know, it generates the image, and on the ascending movement where it goes up, it liberates the image. So in like one moment, it's liberated our image and then liberated our image. So our image is holographic, and it's generated and liberated so quickly we don't see its individual moments where it's generated and liberated. But so I was sitting with that, and I decided to open Lama Surya Dasa's this Buddha Standard Time book that I've asked you all to be reading, Buddha Standard Time. And on page 193, I started reading, and he's talking about the gap between thoughts. He's writing about the gap between thoughts and also the gap between breaths. And so, as I'm sitting with this image of this molten chakra system bigger than my body, that is me, is this light being of me, I'm feeling the great ray come in and go out, but it's also moving back, let's see, right to left through this horizontal left brain, right brain, and corpus callosum that's behind the forehead. Well, the left brain is half of your head's left brain, other half's right brain. The right brain hemisphere is the spiritual hemisphere. The left brain is the physical thinking egoic hemisphere. But anyway, so that ray, it was swinging like a pendulum going back and forth between these left and right hemispheres. And it was only later that I realized it's still doing its cleaning. It's going over there touching the left hemisphere that's thinking thoughts of separate self. There's separate others out there, and there's a separate universe. And then it swings over here to the right hemisphere of the spiritual side and touches openness, empty, vast emptiness, primordial ground of great, forever, ever pure emptiness, primordial emptiness that's free of every elaboration and does not change. Anyway, so it's swinging, it's touching the spiritual hemisphere, right brain hemisphere, it touches the left. It's healing thoughts of separation and making more open spaciousness within that left hemisphere. Okay, so all that's going. It's a it's a natural cleaning mechanism that the Son of God invented when he extended this great ray. It naturally liberates the image and generates the image and then frees it. So this swing of that pendulum is going over here to that thought that it's there, where an image, the left brain hemisphere, swings to the right, liberate the image to the clear light. Now what else was going? Oh, so I realized when I read that quote, the gap between thoughts and the gap between breaths is the moment when the great ray is generating and liberating the image. It goes that quick. So that's why these spiritual teachers try to get us to be in the moment, this moment, only moment. Like instead of stringing the moments together to make a rosary where there's the beads are strung together to make the moments are strung together to make a rosary, they're left the way they are, this moment, this moment, this moment. And in that moment is the generation of your inner image and the liberation. And that Lama Surya Das, he wrote, here's the quote. There's a bardo between one thought and another too. Can you settle into that space, letting your awareness expand and the spaciousness unfold? Are you able to feel how momentous that space is and can be? In advanced meditations, such as the Tibetan practice of Mahamudra or the Great Perspective, the student seeks to enter that gap between thoughts, to experience that pregnant stillness called sunyata, Sunyata. Buddhism calls this gap the quote, radiant womb of emptiness. Now, what I'm just described to you, it's the womb. It's generating your image and liberating it in that moment. So it is indeed the gap between thoughts, the gap between the breasts, that space is the womb of emptiness, a vital space in which dwell an infinite number of choices and possibilities, the alpha and omega of all experience and being. Well, whoa. Just go to page 193 and read about that and sit with that gap. Just pause, like he says, just can you just pause and settle into that space, but letting your awareness expand and the spaciousness unfold between one thought and another. Um, but anyway, so I did, and I felt it. And in that, well, anyway, I won't go back over that whole thing, but it's the radiant womb of emptiness. Now, emptiness is a word that's used in Buddhism, and it's referred to as like openness, spaciousness. But now I've really kind of settled on that word emptiness, because emptiness, that means it's free of all elaborations, free of all those the sixth sense stimuli, and it doesn't change. Emptiness, it's this pure, ever pure, primordial emptiness. That means prior to us falling asleep and thinking we're an image, there was this free. We remembered that we were this vast emptiness of God's presence, which can be called spaciousness, openness, purity, clear light. But when we were awake and aware, we knew we were the generator of all these images and the universe. And we knew there was a two-part process. The great ray descends, generates the form, great ray ascends, liberates the form. We knew that. We felt that. And we just took our awareness and went inside the forms to experience what this God presence, this clear, pure emptiness felt like to be inside a form. And inside the form, we did this so we could experience what the love felt like that we had for God and God had for us. And just sit with that, because we're awakening to that, where then you look in your mind to see this spaciousness or this vast emptiness, and you go, oh, I was talking to Lynn. We had lunch the other day, and I was with wearing that sleep mask. I go, it's so obvious when I put the sleep mask on. I immediately just kind of relax and I go, oh, God's presence, God's presence. And then I'm more apt to remember when I'm walking around, God's presence is here as well. But it's when it's different when my out with this glaring light of the physical world. Here I see it, God's presence as clear light, or I relax into that spaciousness. But anyway, um, so what I want to express is so just being with this presence, resting within this presence is the goal of A Course in Miracles and Dzogchen, that we can live our life resting or being, or called interbeing, with this vast spaciousness, this vast emptiness, this vast purity. Now, what I want to get to then, oh, so after I was reading about that in his book on page 212, that book, Buddha Standard Time, he writes about cosmic awareness. I'm not kidding you. Cosmic awareness. I had read that word, I'd read that section before, but I never thought about what in the world was cosmic awareness. And I realized when I saw that multi-layered, multi-colored, molten, turning chakras, that I was seeing it from above looking down. That was cosmic awareness. I'm aware that the great ray is creating, making this entire universe. I see it, I feel it, and I feel the expansion and the contraction of the whole universe with my form and all forms, because the great ray descension, ascension causes the, oh, I always get this mixed up. The out breath is the liberation, causes the in breath, the contraction of the form, and the ascension causes the out breath and the liberation of the form. But it causes the breaths, the in and out breaths. So everything, when you relax into this, that's this union, this unison of all the inner being and the resting with everything. You're resting within your essence, your nature, within God's presence and the nature of everything. So the cosmic awareness. Okay, now how do I want? Oh, so picture that was Sunday and Monday. And then Monday night I wore the sleep mask. But then Angela's coming in. I'll just make sure she gets in okay. Sometimes it takes a bit. She's in Canada. I mean, the distance. Julia got in. Oh no, she's Washington. But anyway, I'll watch this. I think I can do two things at once. Is so off and on Sunday, Monday night, I'm being with this light that I am, experiencing being with it. It's just not thoughts, just not contemplation, being with it, experiencing, feeling it, seeing the vision from this awakened God eyeball that the Course in Miracles talks about. This is your third eye. This is yep. Okay, Angela. Just maybe don't know if I can mute you. There, good. Thanks, Angela. Muted. Welcome. Okay. So what I want to talk about is, so I woke up, today's Tuesday, I have trouble. I woke up early this morning. No, I woke up several times in the night. In my mind, I was seeing that molten, I was a light being, all the chakras just all expanding and contracting in union with everything. And my alarm went off. And see, I'm laying on my back flat in bed, and my table's to the left. And I go to take to turn over to my left side and reach with my right arm to reach over and turn off the alarm on my cell phone, right? When I go to turn from my flat off my back to turn to go, this happened to me before. I was going to look it up, but I didn't look it up. Where when the shift was occurring, I felt swoony, I felt wonky, I felt uh out of sorts, out of kilter. I felt when I turned onto sort of my left side, I saw in my mind there was like vast space, and there was nothing to rest on or hold on to. And I felt all out of kilter, swoony. And man, I laid back down in the bed and realized I couldn't turn on my left side. I might just pass out or get nauseous. And so I took my left hand and went and grabbed my cell phone and held it up in front of me to turn off my alarm and laid it back next to me so I didn't have to lean over on my left side again. So picture what I pay attention to what I read and what I teach about that left brain hemisphere is this. So I'm on in the right brain hemisphere, left brain's the thinking mind. It's this egoic part that has the fight or flight, takes care of us, makes sure nothing happens to us, which is useful. It's a good servant, but a poor master. But anyway, so I thought, man, instantly it came to me, hold it. I just tried to turn on my left side. And I saw in my mind this like vast space. When I looked again, it looked like white space. And it dawned on me, there was nothing to rest on or hang on to. So I lay back down and I thought, ooh, I'm going to try the right brain hemisphere. I'm going to turn on my right side and see if it feels stable like I usually feel. So I go to turn on my right side. I turn on my, and wow, that same big swoony, nauseous feeling showed up. And I looked again and there was nothing to hang on to. And I felt fear. And I realized I felt fear. And the fear was because there was nothing to rest on, nothing to hang on to. So I just bead with the fear. I didn't push it away or anything. I just bead with it. And it liberates. If you do, awareness is curative. Awareness will cause things to liberate. All on it. I don't have to push it away. That's denial and repression. Awareness is curative. But anyway, so then I laid back on my back going, whoa, whoa, something is shifting. And I and I just laid there going, contemplating what I saw was white spaciousness. Oh, and then it dawned on me, it's because I was sitting with, visualizing, and was being that I was being this light body of all these chakras fully opened, fully unfolded, fully multi-layered. And since Angela's come in here and he didn't get to see this picture. Oh, and in my email, I sent the link for this reel, so that you could open it up and sit with it yourself. But Angela, on Sunday, I opened my phone and saw this image, and it's a reel, meaning REEL, meaning it has music and has movement. This whole thing is turning slightly. And what it is, it's multi layers, multi colors. And that black line is the great ray to me that comes in, and it's creating or making the universe, that blue that's seeing there. But at the same time it's making in the universe, it's generating my form and your form, everybody's form. And that it was, my vision was looking down. This is a vision from looking down at your chakra system, the down, and down, that red is way at the root chakra. They're not exactly, because they're 3D, they don't line up the same as when you look at a 2D picture. But anyway, there's the crown chakra white, the green's a heart chakra, there's yellow, golden yellow, and orange, navel chakra, solar plexus chakra, sun chakra, and the heart chakra. But anyway, that it's a tower of chakras. It's they, when they're fully open, feel your whole form. Your whole form are these chakras unfolded and unfolded together. But anyway, I was being with that. I was a light being. I was a light being. I wasn't a physical body. Now, in when we're walking around, there's a combination of bodies. There's a mental body, the physical body, the emotional body, the light body. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on here besides the physical body. But I'm talking when you're in meditation and in this awakened part, we awaken to the light essence that we are. But anyway, so I thought, Oh, so I realized because I was being with that, I was letting go of more thoughts that I was a body. Because, see, the thought that we're a separate self, and then the thought because we think we're a separate self and other people are separate bodies, and that there's a separate universe. All those beliefs get let go of to be let go and relax and rest and be within this emptiness, this vast spaciousness of purity, vast clear light, etc. Anyway, so realize I'm letting go of more of that, or which is causing this feeling that there's just spaciousness and nothing to grab onto. And so it made me realize what I've been doing as a physical, thinking, believing in a physical body. I've been grabbing onto that I'm a physical body, and that's my crux. That's my you can rely on that. So when I look in my mind and see spaciousness, and there's nothing to grab onto, you kind of go wonky and fuzzy and swoony. Whoa, what's going on here? So throughout the day, that was this morning. I was real careful when I got out of bed. And when I went to the bathroom and then when I came back, I realized, hold it, I'm not getting out of bed. I'm going to stay in bed and I'm not going to think about my light body. But this has got to stabilize. This got to stabilize. I'm going to just, uh, I kind of forget what I was talking to myself about. I'm just going to rest. I'm just going to rest here in the spaciousness. I'm going to just rest and be with it because that's how to stabilize it, is to rest and be with it, not push it away. So at least that insight came to me. But I thought, let me look at my phone and see if there's any post that resonates with me. And I think I even wrote my email that I kind of get a little spooked is that holy Lama Surya Das, most of the time, if I look at his Facebook posts, he will have a Facebook post that if I look at the time that he wrote it and he posted it, it's before I'm experiencing something. But it's like he's writing about something that, oh, let's see, I got to get deep back in here. He's writing about something I was now experiencing. It was like he's clairvoyant. He's like writing not just for me, but he writes for everybody. But it just wham. And I go, wow, this is far out because one of the supernatural powers that come from awakening is a person is clairvoyant and sees through and feels what other people feel because we're no longer stuck in these rigid habits that we've cultivated by accepting what culture says, etc. Now, one was so here's the post and he's quoting a holy being. I can't pronounce the name. Trulshik, Rinpoche. And here's the quote. Which, because see, what it's dealing with is what I was dealing with, which was this spaciousness. Okay, here's what the primordial ground. See, I talked to y'all about the groundless ground. Remember when I looked in the mirror and my two eyes merged and there was a single eye and I looked and there was just this just sparkling gold, clear light, kind of sparkling effervescence. And so I called that the groundless ground because at the groundless ground, that effervescence, that glow is because the pure, slick blackness of God's presence is so tight of light that it gives off this effervescence and it's forever creative. It's forever creative. But anyway, that's the groundless ground, that womb of, what did he call it? The womb of emptiness, the radiant womb of emptiness. That's where the great ray comes in, descends and ascends, and it's making or creating the universe and our forms. But anyway, that's the primordial ground that the great ray extends from. So here's the quote: the primordial ground, the great, ever pure primordial emptiness, which is free from all elaboration and change, is the very nature of uncompounded and self arising awareness. Bless me so that I may recognize the view, my very own nature. So, this quote, this holy person is praying, bless me so I may recognize the view. What's the view? The view of my very own nature. And that's what we're all waking up to. What are we? What is the nature? What is our nature? Well, he's defined it right here. The nature is this great, ever pure, primordial emptiness. And it's empty because it's free of all obscurations, free of all thoughts, feelings, and sensations and judgments. And that's called like free from all elaboration and change. This ever pure primordial emptiness. And this nature, what uncompounded means, it's not been put together. It's natural. This is natural. This is our innate nature. So this pure emptiness is also what awareness is. So when I was having lunch with Lynn the other day, I was kind of talking about awareness because I didn't know what awareness was for years. How you can look out from those eyes and see these other images, what you're seeing, what you're using is awareness. That's it. That's awareness. You're aware you're seeing something. You're aware you're hearing something. You're aware, you feel something. That's awareness. Now, awareness can be asleep when it's reacting to the sights and the sounds, and it just bam, 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 just reacting. So the awareness is asleep or not awake. The awareness that when you look out, you're aware that you're aware. You're aware you're looking out and seeing these images. You're aware in the moment. You're seeing them. You're aware you're hearing the sounds. You're not sleepwalking. You're aware that sound's there. Next moment, there's another sound. You're aware of the arisings. That's what's different with an awakened person. Instead of that, they're asleep and then they're just reacting to sight, sounds, judgments. And then they glue together some more sentences with that. Well, yeah, I really don't like that. And then you got a whole dung ball going where you've glued a bunch of stuff together. Um, so that's what awareness is also. Its nature is this purity, pure emptiness, not obscured by these six senses. It's pure. So these senses, sensations, they come and go. They're called also reflections on this emptiness because these sensations, these judgments, these thoughts, these sounds, they don't tarnish this emptiness. They don't tarnish the mirror because they're just sensations. They're just sixth sense. That's why the Son of God invented the form. It wanted to put its awareness in there to feel what did this emptiness feel like inside a form. What does it feel like to go and see these sights or see them and hear things and touch things and to talk to God and go, oh, I love you, God. I feel your presence, God. Oh, I feel whole, pure, and innocent. Then that's these words that we say to ourselves that are describing how we feel when we're feeling union with Source and feeling union with all our brothers and sisters. We feel full of spirit. We feel full of light. We feel whole, complete. So that's an experience of our wholeness, of this emptiness. It's complete. It doesn't lack anything. and it's a forever loving and unconditional loving. But we created, the Son of God created or made the universe so it could why before? Because before there was only the knowingness of God. You just knew God. You knew God was there, but you couldn't actually feel what God felt like, right? No, because there wasn't really any subject or object. Without being inside something, to you kind of like is but picture when we're awake, there's not two-ness. Your awareness is just experiencing these things, letting them come and go. We're not asleep and not thinking there's other objects out there. We're just experiencing this. We haven't entangled with that other stuff out there. But yet, once in a while, we do get entangled. Now, so that brings up another quote I saw the other day, was talking about. I want to get in some quotes. What time? There's a couple of quotes here. Here it is. This is a quote by, who's this person? I forget. Page 3, maybe page 2 say, is TSOKY, I'm sorry, TSOKNYI Rinpoche. Here's what he has to say. Our awareness is overwhelmed by hundreds of different thoughts, feelings, and sensations. Some we latch onto because they're attractive fantasies or scary preoccupations. Some we try to shove away because they're too upsetting or because they distract us from whatever we're trying to accomplish at the moment. Instead of focusing on some of them and pushing away others, though, just look at them as feathers flying in the air. After I read that post, though, I thought about, even when awakened, we can, in a heartbeat, get entangled with a thought. Because look what he says here. Our awareness is overwhelmed by hundreds of different thoughts, feelings, and sensations. So it would be admirable if we could all just be perfect about this and just let all this stuff go. But no, there's going to be something that's going to be tantalizing, or we're going to be afraid of, or whatever, and we're going to latch on, or we're going to push it away, right? The wonderful thing about awakened awareness is it is so, we're in that sleep mess. What's happened? My awareness is so hyper aware of any intrusion that it, bam, just when that awareness just is aware of that thought, I'm not kidding you, I see like a fizz. I see like a fizz. It just fizzes it. It just dissolves it because it's a high speed, high vibration, God, Christ, Buddha awareness. So picture, I'm explaining this because I don't want you to feel like that you're never going to react or you're never going to latch on to something, because it's just too much going on. Six sense stimuli, right? Hearing, sight, smell, touch, taste. But what's different is with awakened awareness, you're damn aware in a heartbeat. I just grabbed onto something, and with just that awareness, bam, fizz, it's liberated. And off you go back to the races. I forget, Glenn says, off to the show or whatever. Then, so see, we're just living and being with thought, well, whatever shows up, right? That it's not the cards we're dealt, but how we play the hand, how we're responding or reacting to all this. But uh, this awareness that it's on it, baby. It's aware of any intrusion. Now, that's what you're cultivating by being aware of what you're doing while you're doing it. Then you're aware when your mind's wandered off to something else, the past or future. And without awareness, it's gone. It liberates, because that's the natural process. So see how there's the natural cleaning process of the great ray descending and then ascending and liberating. That's that natural process that causes winds that allow all these six sense stimuli to come and go if we don't grab onto them. And then the next a cleaning mechanism is just being aware when we've grabbed onto something. Um, so now that also brings up then another quote I saw. Let's see, this was from Suzuki, Suzuki Roshi, Roshi, is so one thing flows into another and cannot be grasped. The true purpose is to see things as they are, to observe things as they are, and to let everything go as it goes. Now, see, that really helped me because now that's why I explain about this great ray. I want you to realize this is such a creative mechanism that the Son of God invented by simply extending a great ray. The great ray is not separate from the vast emptiness, it's just an extension. And due to that tube-like deal, it made an automatic downward force and an automatic upward force. And that's a cleaning mechanism. It generates images and it liberates the images in a heartbeat, in a moment. And then it generates and liberates. But what happens then, one thing flows into another. We just become aware of this swing, the contraction and the expansion that follows the breath, and this light energy is moving all these things where they flows into another, but can't be grasped. Really, these are holographic images. That's why we can't really grab onto them and make them last for eternity because they're gonna rust or dissolve because that they just are not this forever pure, ever pure emptiness. The true purpose is to see things as they are. Now, that's why I ask you see the light in everything and everyone. Because as you stop and remember to do that, you're stopping that thinking mind and you're going over and touching that right brain spiritual side. Woo, openness, spirit, light, and then you're off to the races. You're off doing whatever else you're doing. And then you remember again, oh, the light in this thing I'm doing, or the light in this person. That's why I call light in everyone and everything. The TV, the chairs, the cars, it's the beetles, the animals. The true purpose is see things as they are. Their essence, see the great ray generated them out of this light, compressed this clear light, this emptiness, compressed it, and made the five elements and made these little vibrating light particle images, light beings, and then liberates them. So you're seeing the light, their light essence that they are, to observe things as they are. And now to observe them as they are means you're aware that your mind is going into the past or the future and making up stories about them, that your own internal dialogue that you're going to make some emotion with. And you're going to be reacting to your own internal dialogue, not so much as to what they're doing or saying. So to observe things as they are, you're 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 becoming 100% fully present with what you're doing while you're doing it. So you're aware that person that's in front of you talking to you. You're aware of what you're seeing on TV. You're you're aware. You're paying attention to them. And in among that, you may remember to think of them as clear light, but you're not going into the future remembering some past badass shit they've done to you. I'm going to repeat that crap to yourself while they're talking to you. Or they mention something and the mind goes off to think about something that's similar to that. You know what I mean? You're becoming aware of how that egoic mind works and you're no longer playing the game. You're letting that be. See, observe things as they are and to let everything go as it goes. Because it's going to come and go if we let it. And we don't hang on to all that, right? I want to really thank Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, for light beings. I barely was able to get up and around today. And it was like 4:15 Eastern time. And see our meetings at 7. I thought, oh my, I need to take a shower. I think I can get out of this chair, a shower, wash my hair, get all these, all the little lotions you put on your hair, get your hair dried. Oh my, uh, because I had to be careful kind of how I was walking. And oh, when I was writing the morning, today, my recap of, what I was experiencing this morning, I thought I would just test it because I was doing pretty good walking around and not feeling swoony because I'd been careful about turning. I sure wasn't leaning over and reaching down to go pick up anything. But when I was writing, I thought, give this a shot. And so I leaned over a little bit from the left. I leaned over some to see if I'd get swoony, but I was a little cautious and I realized I didn't go quite far enough because I didn't feel swoony, but I got kind of brave then. So when I moved to the right and I coming over here to the right, I kind of went further. Bam! It was like just all space. And I was like, whoa, swoony, whoa, because all space. So then I just asked Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, help me stabilize this view of this. See, that's pure emptiness. That's the pure emptiness of God's presence and our presence, our nature. And it's also what this awareness is its nature, is this pure emptiness, this purity that allows these things, all these thoughts, feelings, sensations to come and go. Um, oh, I got some notes here. Let's see if I got anything different that might. I talked about the gap. Remind about that. Oh, well, what I just described, which I explained last week, but uh, I don't know how well I did about it, is I never really understood what the view and meditation of Dzogchen meant. Dzogchen is the highest Tibetan Buddhist teaching. Dzogchen is this awareness that's aware of the arisings in each moment. That is the view and meditation of Dzogchen. Because I never really thought about how do you live how do you live this life? See, nothing's changed in front of my face. It's looks like it's an ordinary life. The people I run into the same. I go to the health club, I go to the restaurant, I do go see my sister or talk to some. Nothing really changed. But what's changed is this awareness is aware of these arisings. And the arisings are I'm aware of the people that show up in front of my face, aware of what I'm watching on TV. I'm aware of them. And that awareness is lucid and awake. And it's right in the moment. And other times I'm aware arisings or what's arising in the mind, the thoughts, feelings, sensations, and the mind yakking and making judgments about the items that are in front of my face or in my mind. So it's that simple. Being aware of whatever arises is the view and meditation of Dzogchen. That's how you live your life. Oh, but you live it awakened because you're aware all these images, essence is this pure emptiness, this pure clear light. Spirits, the spirit of God. And so it changes how you act, doesn't it? Changes what you think about, changes what you read. You still enjoy life. I still watch movies. I still, yeah, do regular stuff. But it changes when I'm at the health club. I'm inner being with the equipment and the people. Inner being with that clear light. That now I'll use the word this ever pure emptiness. while these images come and go out in front of my face or in my mind, right? It's that I never understood that until the last week or so. Maybe it was the week before, and I tried to express it last week. Aware of whatever is arising is the view and meditation of Dzogchen. We're no longer sleepwalking, just reacting and have an internal dialogue with ourselves, causing our own problems and reacting to our own problems, let alone what somebody else might say. Well, anyway, so that's it is right at 8 p.m. So, any thoughts, comments, or questions before I stop this recording? Look here, there's sweet Angela, God, and look around the screen, God, Angela, God, Lynn, God, Julia, God, Debbie needed to go, God, Leon, God, D, God, Glenda, and those God beings that watch this video later. There's only God's presence. That's the only way it can be. There's no power greater than God. We're just asleep. We're just asleep to his essence and to our essence, which is the same as his. He's, of course, the creator, the big man. He's not a man, but he's the creator. I bow to God. I bow to God. Thank you, God. He created the Son of God so he could extend love. But then the Son of God wanted to feel what in the heck that love felt like. And he made the universe of form. And everything was hunky dory. He knew what he was doing till he fell in love with a form and this universe that he created, he made. Then he fell asleep and started then reacting to the images, not being with them, not loving them equally, started evaluating, judging, and sorting and labeling. Because then it became two-ness. Then it became two-ness. Prior to being asleep, awareness could see these images and did not think of them as two-ness. It made these images. It didn't think of them as two-ness. But once the sleep fell over the Son of God, then the images look like two images. There's two out there, not one. You know, it seems so simple. He didn't go to create two-ness. He wanted to make images to put his awareness in to experience the love of God, experience what it thought about, what it felt like to be with God inside this form, what it smelled like, it looked like, it sounded like, that high vibration of God's presence and his presence, what that sound felt like. Just enjoying this till he fell asleep to it. So you're waking up by cultivating your awareness, by being fully present with what you're doing while you're doing it. You're cultivating this awakened awareness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No, Angela's unmuted. Angela, you got something to ask before I shut down the recording?
Yeah, good evening, Glenda. Um, yeah, I'm just going to add to, there's not really a question, but I really appreciate your practicality and how you expressed, your morning, right, left-minded, and how we continue on in everyday, because there's so many distractions in everyday life. And so I really appreciate the recharge. Um, and myself, what I'm coming to understand is, you know, when we are distracted or we tend to get really upset in the moment for whatever reason, that now I look at it as more of a gentle intention when I'm doing things. And as you said, an awareness, being much more and not sleepwalking, and just having that gentle attention, which I'm finding much more helpful. It keeps me more at peace on the everyday. So I just thought I would add to that. And so beautiful to hear you that you said you stayed with it when you felt a little wonky. You didn't go in fear. You knew what that and took your time, um, recognizing the physical, the spirit that you were. So beautiful. Thank you,
Mm,
Glenda.
mm. Well, thank you, Angela. Is that we're being aware of how we feel and how, if I feel fear, but how I feel in the body, because that Jesus says in the Course, it's your feelings will help you see which voice you're listening to. Because if I'm feeling anxious or upset or all those other not peaceful things, then I I'm glued to a thought, right? Something else you said is yeah, this is practical. This is, we're using awareness to live. This is not, the life doesn't change. Everything that we can still have our house, our condo, whatever we got, the car, whatever we're doing, you still have all that, but it's whether you're aware of what you're doing, right? How you're feeling, yes. It opens you up to have freedom. It's called liberation of being. It just, yeah, then feels free, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, wow. Thanks, Angela.
You.
Any other comments or questions before I stop the recording? I really appreciate in any and all of you that came out. It sure makes a difference. It sure makes a difference because I feel your spirits, and it just softens and helps me loosen up and relax. So I really appreciate each of you, and I love each of you dearly. Thank you for coming out tonight. And for those that listen to this video later, I hope it's a benefit. Thank you. Record.